So there's an abstract, which sort of is a condensed version of really the highlights of what's in the paper. And that's something that easily pops up that people will quickly look at online to see, is this worth reading? Or they may actually pull some of the vital data from that abstract and never read the whole paper. So then you go into an introduction, which sort of lays out, why, why was this study done, or why is this an important, paper, and it gives the context. So you move from the context and the actual point of the paper to a description, typically of the methods of how you came about getting the results that you did. So it can be very, very detailed about how many patients were enrolled in a study and what the kind of treatment was, and how many, the different kind of measurements you made, whether it, for instance, is lung function, or you collected culture results, or asked people how they were feeling in a questionnaire. And then also a description of how the results were analyzed statistically. And then you move to the results. And you have to be very careful to only give new information in the results and not talk about the methods and not make any conclusions from the results. You have to kind of just really lay it out, and probably in the order that is from the most important to maybe the least important. So you get to the really critical things first. And then at the end, you have a discussion about what those results mean in the context of everything else that's been done. And if it's been a huge amount of stuff, then you have to kind of pick the things that are actually the most relevant, and then in somewhat of a self-critical way, talk about the significance of the results that you got, and then put them into context, not overstate their importance. That's always a bad thing to do, because if it ever gets past the reviewers or the editors, even your colleagues will look at it and just shake their heads, because they, it's a bad form. It's really just kind of trying to pump yourself up like this is like the most important thing that's been done in the past year. And then you get to make a conclusion. And the conclusion has to be somewhat neutral and sometimes understated, where it has to almost speak for itself, and kind of short to the point. And then the end, of course, are the references, which really list where somebody could go to check to make sure that what you were saying was properly interpreted. And the references are wonderful, because a lot of times it's a way that you can actually, by reading somebody else's work, get an idea of where else to go to get other ideas.